welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer Vatsa of Belladonna's Botanicals, and I want to just do a quick video today on talking about a little bit about Baneful Magick, and because I've talked about this topic before, and you know, I do make some Baneful products and for some services, but some of the things to consider, because I do try to bring attention to when I'm working with different clients or answering customer emails and things like that, to really think about the considerations of when you're doing magic, especially if you're entering into the realm of doing death curses. And it's something I really want to elaborate on first, is to think about that and the situation in which that's warranted. And while I don't ascribe to sort of the Wiccan read, the rule of threefold, whatever you do comes back to you threefold. I don't, or karmic stuff. It's just not my belief system and not how I work. But there are things you have to consider in that if you death curse someone, okay, great. This person may very well deserve that. But what happens if that death curse manifests in a plane crash and 200 other people die, and in addition to that person? How are you going to feel about that? Is it worth that risk? Because that's something that could happen. Or, they get in a car accident and, a family of 5 is killed. That sort of thing. So it's kind of thinking about it in that, it's not you're just going to snap your fingers and someone's just going to, crap out right there. Or they may get sick and die and drain, if it's a familial situation. Do you want your children, having to take care of, or you having to take care of that family member slowly wasting away of a horrible disease? Your death curse might work there, but with everything, and this is something that I kind of like to bring up, is that there's consequences to things. We can do a lot of these things, but there can be consequences. And, that's in any situation, that it's not just, you do these things willy-nilly and everything just works out in the end. It might, but you have to allow for the fact that shit could go sideways in an unexpected way. And, I've seen that, maybe not on a large scale, but, back when, several months ago, my car got totaled. I'm fine. It was just parked on the street. Someone uninsured ran into it, ran off. And, I was stuck with a totaled car and having to deal with all that, very angry about it. So I did a little bit of Baneful Magick around that, and a few weeks later, there was a bus accident right on my corner. And as I was kind of like heading back to the house, because I went to see, what happened, because it was very loud, and I just got this thing sort of rushed through me. It's done, because I still had the stuff working on my altar then. Now, sure, it could have been a coincidence, nothing, but then it made me think about it. I'm like, what if in order to do Baneful Magick against the person who totaled my car, what if I caused the bus accident? Like, was that, sure, coincidence, synchronicity, whatever, but it made me think about things in a little different scale of, oh, okay, in order to get back at that one person, you could have injured all these other people. And I feel like it was maybe sort of, with the entities I work with, kind of going, let's think about the petty baneful stuff that you do and whatnot, and how that can have consequences. So thinking of it in that terms. And another thing that came up, this was entirely unrelated, but I was listening to an audiobook on core shamanism. And if you're not familiar with core shamanism shamanism is what that particular practice is it was developed to be like non-icky cultural appropriation shamanism, and to take the core elements of shamanic practice that overlap in different cultures and parts of the world and societies of it, and pull out the cultural specific aspects of it. So looking like, okay, like drumming is something that's used in, you know, various shamanic practices all over the world, or soul retrieval, or shamanic journeying, and things like that. So looking at it in that term. So I was listening to an audiobook on it, and one of the things that struck me and was interesting, and I started thinking about this in terms, because it was talking about, I don't know if there was a specific term for it, but it was talking about how when you have anger or upset or hurt at someone that you can't express, that often this manifests in detrimental things that happen to that person, you know, and it stopped, and I thought about this. I'm like, oh wow, you know, like it's sort of the power of thought, the power of intention, the power of emotion and energy and things like that, which is something we do put into our magic. But I've seen that happen in my life. Like, I'm like, wow, you know, this person really hurt me, or like did something horrible. And then, you know, I'm like, wow, and then something really bad happens to them or in their life and stuff like that. And I've just noticed a pattern of that. Didn't do anything, you know, to make any of that happen intentionally, but something I've seen happen. Again, it could be a synchronicity or coincidence or whatnot. But, you know, after you notice it happened multiple times, that you're kind of like, is it though? Is it circumstantial? Is it a coincidence? I don't know. But anyways, so that's just something I kind of want to put out, because, and one of the things, and I'm sure I'm not the only black magic practitioner or left-hand pather who experiences this, is a lot of times we get, you know, customer inquiries, oh, you do the dark magic, so you'll do anything. I'm like, no, that's not true. I will not do everything. You know, we do have our limits, and we do have areas of expertise, and, you know, I make it abundantly clear, you know, to people who want to do things of that nature. I'm like, look, you have to consider these things. You know, you have to consider this, and just because we do black magic doesn't mean we're gonna do just anything for any reason. And, you know, it's like, with great power comes great responsibility. And that is very true when you're working with Baneful Magick. Do I want to hex someone because they, like, stepped on my shoe? No. But, you know, starting to think about it in that sense, I'm like, are you just throwing curses at every single person that pisses you off, you know? And it's just picking and choosing your battles. That is key right there. So anyways, that's just a little spiel I wanted to talk about, you know, based on some, you know, questions and inquiries and things like that I get frequently. Is just because I can doesn't mean I will. And that goes a long way. Because I know sometimes people will shop around through multiple practitioners till they get the answer they're looking for, or the yes, or the whatever. But, you know, if you're looking for something, listen to what you're being told. Because the people in the community have varying levels of experience and skill. Like, there's some areas I'm not great at. I'll admit, I'm like, I'm a little, you know, I do different types of magic. I don't particularly like doing love magic that much, to be honest. But, you know, being polyamorous, it makes it a little more complicated. But anyways, that's another story for another day. But, you know, that's just something I wanted to talk about. One of those burning questions that comes up every now and then. But yeah. Anyways, don't forget to click like and subscribe.